Fridays should be a day of relaxation. They should where we all calm down and enjoy, especially in the summer when it's hot, it's beautiful out there, making barbecues. But the only thing that's getting grilled right now is Donald J. Trump. Because you see, the left, the Democrats, the media, they have only one Trump card to play, and that is go after Trump. Victory after victory, checkbox after checkbox, success after success. It doesn't matter. I get it. Tariffs are shit. We get it. Tariffs are making it very hard. I get it. But he's winning negotiating deals. And it's as much as it's very difficult and it's been hard and whatever, but all of a sudden prices are better and he's made more money for the United States in tariff money and blah, blah, blah. But it's all bad. So if we can't get him on the good, on the facts, on the things that are good for America, let's get him on the stuff that just doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense. And that's Jeffrey Epstein. It's an incredible thing, Stuart, to see that the Democrats' fixation on this list, because Donald Trump's name apparently is on the list. Now, it doesn't mean he's guilty of anything, but he's on the list. And as we know, in today's world, fake is fact. And if I say it enough times, it has to be true. Welcome back, everybody, to the Rant Network. I am David Solomon. He is Stuart Brisgell. We do this every Monday, Wednesday, Friday noon. We call this the Rant Network, where we're unedited, uncensored, unfiltered, and definitely unapologetic of everything to do with news, pulp culture, politics, especially politics, and more politics, and the modern life. Folks, tune in today because we're going to get into this whole business about how absurd people get when it comes to politics and the desire to take down a president. Stuart, I got to tell you, I was telling one thing we were talking about prior to this in the green room. One of the things that I brought up was look at the difference of what a media will focus on. CNN wants to talk about Trump. They want to talk about Gaza. They want to talk about the stories that they think matters. And it's the most important stories. But when it talks about Trump, listen to this. As Epstein's saga rages, Trump is getting a pass on his role in building famine in Gaza. And I'm thinking, what is going on here? The left has a fixation on Epstein. They're saying MAGA is revolting. I don't know what revolting means. Like, that is ridiculous because I haven't seen a single thing that goes down. So in order to say Trump is bad on Gaza is because you know what? Trump is bad because of Epstein. Ghislaine Maxwell, they're going to interview. The whole story is upside down. But what is the right focusing on? And the left is ignoring? That a former president lied to the people, created a conspiracy to ensure that Donald Trump would not get elected on a Russia hoax. And the DNI, secretary, Tulsi Gabbard, gets up there and says, we have a problem. As they open up the files to what Obama has done. And like the Hunter Biden laptop, it's buried because the only thing that matters, take down Trump. Stuart, we can't hear you, sir. We can't hear you.
I think a picture's 1,000 words, David. And you know what? Damn, that looks like a sexy politician. Isn't that Hillary's husband, Monica Lewinsky's lollipop? I mean, let's be reasonable. Let's be fair. I've got to tell you, there are lots of pictures of Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump and many other politicians, literally. All right. So let's be honest with each other. It isn't just Donald J. Trump. It is every single politician. While Epstein was out managing money, doing philanthropic work, and diddling women, right? We know he's a convicted felon who's dead. So at the end of the day, it's not just about Donald Trump. And the media is what is doing this. It only can be Donald Trump. It cannot be Obama. It cannot be Clinton. It cannot be Hillary. There are literally hundreds of pictures of all these people. So when it comes time to picking on someone, the Democrats are failing as a party. A party typically has a platform. Hey, I'm going to reduce taxes. Hey, I'm going to make the streets safe. Hey, I'm going to make your lives better. But the Democrats have no platform. Why is that? Because all the issues for everyday Americans are consumed by but the Republicans. You know why I say that? Because every single issue that once used to be a ping pong match is no longer. What is the left leaning on? It's focusing on social justice issues for the 0.1%. It's criticizing conservative politics. It's framing its stuff with emotionally charged language like, I'm going to kill him. I want you to beat him. I want you to fight him. They're selecting stories and emphasizing on facts, not the whole story. And they're using the power of editorial influence, whether it's CNN, MSNBC, New York Times, Washington Board, or NPR. There's a reason why USAID has got its whole entire budget clipped, because the Democrats are not using American taxpayer dollars to serve Americans. They're doing it to serve a political party. And that isn't just criticism. That is factual. That is actual. And you know what? If it wasn't for Dodge, that was created by Obama, we would never have known this. You know, if you go to the Pew Research Centers, it's a left-leaning outlet. If you go to Fact Check or Media Bias or Ad Fonts Media, it's left-leaning advertisements. And you know what else is really amazing? How do they retain their tax statuses, these people? How do they retain their independence? Did you know, David, that Democrat politicians have to declare what their advertising budget is? The whole entire news industry or editorial industry is a whopping machine to push politics for one party and one party alone.
Well, which I find it hysterical, like what's going on here, Stuart, because we're seeing what the Democrats are capable of, right? Distortion, smoke and mirrors. So you got the DNC chair who's saying Trump has let America down. Middle America is only interested in the Democrats. Really? Did you see the last election there, dude? Are you sure Middle America supports the Democrats? If you see Trump's ratings lately, despite all the pains and all the tribulations that you claim that's going on, Trump's popularity is ridiculously good. And at times it's painstaking to the media outlets that have to admit it, that Trump is actually on a roll. Marco Rubio is a rock star. He isn't flipping and flopping like somebody else I know who was like named Hillary Clinton, who flipped and flopped and had a server at home and lied to people. It doesn't make a difference. The Democrats want the rules for them. It's amazing that how many times the Democrats have tried to pull the wool over the eyes of the Americans. We see it time and time again with lies, with enough layers of lies, with enough layers of like smoke and mirrors. And but it's all the Republicans' fault. And when you have, a CBS that will go out and interview and just, on a Sunday morning. And if you ever watch some of those Sunday morning shows, I've sat and watched them on CBS, and what did they do? Distort to try to make the Democrats look good. They'll bring up a Republican and ask one set of questions. You see what happens with the Democrats. We saw that in the debate with Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. We see that with the interviews on 60 Minutes. We see this again and again and again. The Democrats can only play the cards of smoke and mirrors, and they need the media to do their bidding. So when Hunter Biden gets interviewed and he has a meltdown, the liberal media buries it. It's a non-story for them. James Carville gets interviewed and he says, this is ridiculous. I mean, it's the stuff that comes out of there is ridiculous. And James Carville hates the Republicans. Let's get real. Whatever the Republicans could do, like I always say this, whenever Trump opens his eyes, he's wrong. It's funny. He's gone golfing in Scotland. And of course, what happens? The Democrats are criticizing him. How dare he? Where was Biden every weekend, people?
Well, what about Obama? What about
Obama? Where was Biden every single weekend? In Delaware, alone. Can't be there. Donald Trump has these press conferences where it is impromptu ones on planes, impromptu ones in the White House, all these kinds of things. And he's getting criticized for it. But in the meantime, they couldn't ask a single question to Joe Biden for 4 years. The Democrats have continued to be incredibly I don't even know what to make of it anymore. They're looking for the most ridiculous stories to try to hook themselves up to. We saw right now that the US Olympics, will not allow transgender women to compete with women, and of course the Democrats have a meltdown. Again and again, these things that are really, I get it, they're fringe. I get it. They're focusing on examples of, oh, look how racist the administration is. Look how biased the administration is. But in the meantime, the mess that they made with the Jewish community of the United States, which is quite sizable, quite influential, and stupidly supporting the Democratic Party, let's ignore them. And so, really, the things that matter, Stuart, I got to tell you how many people I've spoken to recently, even now, 8, 9 months since the election, who said, I'm a Democrat, but I had to bite my tongue because I had to vote for Donald Trump because I couldn't support this party. The party is lost. And this still continues to be this way. When you have a Mamdani in New York, and I know we've repeated this, when you have a Mamdani in New York and an AOC and a Bernie Sanders, and you're parading them out and you're saying, this is the Democratic Party.
Omar.
But Stuart, no. Listen, Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib are not being paraded. They're in the background now. They're not sexy enough. What's sexy is Mamdani. What's sexy is hate. What's sexy?
Cocker over in Texas.
All of these things are sexy. These are the new flavors. Look, we've got all these progressives, young people. They're changing the face of the Democratic Party. It's not the old guard like Joe Biden. People, wake up. The reality is, what do Americans really care about? Money in their pocket, reducing crime. Your immigration policy that you had, folks, was a disaster. You see crime after crime with all these illegals, and as soon as you deport an illegal, what is the reaction, Stuart? The best reaction from the Democrats? Who's going to tend to our lawn?
David.
Who's going to work in the fields? That's your Democratic Party for you.
David, it's selective reporting on an omission bias. Left outlets highlight stories for narratives for the progressives, language manipulation, framing bias, right? Using migrant families versus illegal immigrants, right? It's overrepresentation of progressive experts, using left-leaning experts that are academic that make people think it's this or that, suppressing or downplaying stories, editorial influence over opinion pieces. How about data poll distortion or amplifying social media? David, this sounds like Cuba 19 what? How about
look? I'm tired of calling it communist in Cuba and Russia. I'm tired of that. What it is, people, is the smoke and mirrors, and the complicity of the media with the Democrats, with Hollywood and whatever. I mean, you're still screaming about Stephen Colbert's cancellation, that CBS should have eaten it. It's what it was. Like, it doesn't make a difference, really, Stuart. It is whatever we could twist, whatever it could be wrong, whatever it can't be. Let's twist it, because if I gain, like I said earlier, fake is fact. If I gain enough momentum, if I make enough noise, it will become true. And that is what the Democrats hope for, because they have nothing else to stand on. When you see people when you get a bill that allows people to make more money, no tax on tips, overtime, and so on, the Democrats are sitting there going, that's bad. It's bad because we can't spend more money.
Just like the tariffs on China that Biden refused to take off the books.
Again, it's what's amazing is that instead of looking at your voter, the people who put you in office, you're looking at your own pockets. You're looking at your own livelihood. You're not caring about the people. You don't care. Okay, if a person gets killed by an illegal immigrant, that's really unfortunate. But I got to vote because they're going to vote for me in the next election. Or it doesn't make a difference if someone was raped and there was a situation where this illegal raped a mother with a kid there, and you're sitting here and the Democrats are going, oh no, you can't deport this person. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? They want to go down this massive rabbit hole all to get votes?
Yep.
The dum-dums in New England, in New York, in California, in the West, just won't open their eyes. That's sad. Last word to you, my friend.
David, the only last word is it's Friday.
Okay, here we go. Yeah,
and I'm over it.
there we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, he's put the music down.